Hey there. So we're going to talk about the three sort of basic mandolin scales, or at least the first three that I learned. And they correlate to the first three chords that we usually learn: the G chord, the C chord, and the D chord. So let's start with the G. And we're just going to start at level 1 here with one octave, or at least one octave at a time. So we're going to start with the open G string, and then we're going to play the second fret on the G string with our index finger. And then we're going to play the fourth fret on the G string with our middle finger. And I should mention at this point, we're always going to be going down, up, with our right hand. And then we're going to use our ring finger on the fifth fret of the G string. Let me get a little closer to make sure you can see that. So here's the interesting bit, is that on the mandolin, when we're going up the fretboard, when we get to the seventh fret, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that note is the same as the next open string. So this seventh fret on the G string is the same as this open D. And the same thing goes for all the strings. So the seventh fret of the D string is the same as this open A. My mandolin's a little out of tune, but it's pretty much the same note. And then the seventh fret of the A is the same as the open E. So when we're doing this G scale, our next note is the D note, and so we could use our pinky, but since this is beginner level 1, that might be a little hard to use our pinky. But it's good to know that eventually we're working towards using our pinky. But for now, we can just play the open D string. So far we have. And now we're going to do the same thing on the D string as we did on the G string. It's going to be the same fret numbers, just on the D string. So we had open, 2, 4, 5. Now on the D string we're going to have open, 2, 4, 5. And those notes are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So that's one octave of the G scale. Pretty straightforward. When you practice it, just make sure that you're trying to get good tone, and also just kind of keeping in mind what the notes are. You know, even if you have to go kind of slow and say them while you go through it. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so let's move on. Instead of C, we're going to do D first, because it's, well, actually exactly the same as this G scale, at least as far as our fingering goes. So we're going to start on the open D string, and then we're going to do second fret on the D string, which is an E note, fourth fret on the D string with our middle finger, that's an F sharp, third or fifth fret with our ring finger, that's a G note actually. That's the other thing about the mandolin here, is that when we get to the fifth fret, it's the same note as the string before. So on the D string, the fifth fret is the same as the string before it. So it's a G and a G. But this G is an octave higher. That means it's at 12 half steps. You know, all of the notes of the scale, well, all of the notes of the chromatic scale away. So far we have D, E, F sharp, G. Now we're going to do the same thing on the A string. So you have an open A, B, C sharp, D. And that's exactly the same as the fingering for the G scale, just on a different string. The G scale was G, A, 2nd fret, B, 4th fret, C, 5th fret, D, open, E, 2nd fret, F sharp, 4th fret, G, 5th fret. So then when we start on the D string, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So that's our 1 octave D scale. So far we have the G and the D. So now we're going to learn the C. And the C is a little bit different. In a future lesson we'll see that it's actually the same thing, but for right now the fingering is going to just be different. It's not going to carry over to another string exactly the same like the G and the D do. So we're going to start on the G string, but the 5th fret of the G string, and with our ring finger. And you'll notice a pattern that our fingers are always going to be kind of playing the same frets. When we're in this first position, which is what we call it, when we're playing with open strings, our index finger gets the 1st and 2nd fret, our middle finger gets the 3rd and 4th frets, our ring finger gets the 5th and 6th, and the pinky also gets the 6th and the 7th. That's usually how it goes. So, for the C, we're going to start on the 5th fret of the G string. And then we're going to do an open D. And then we're going to do a 2nd fret on the D. And then we're going to do a 3rd fret on the D with our middle finger. So far it is. And then we do 5th fret on the D string. That's a G. And then an open on the A string. And then 2nd fret. And then 3rd fret again, but on the A string, with our middle finger. So once again, that's C, 5th fret, G string, open D, E, 2nd fret, D string, F, 3rd fret, G, 5th fret, open A, B, 2nd fret, C, 3rd fret. So now we're going to I'll play through them a couple of times slow, and you can play along. So we'll start with G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now onto the D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now onto the C. A refresher on the fingering for the C. It's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's the G, C, and D. Practice that on your own, and when you start to feel comfortable with it, well, and you should be practicing knowing the note names too. But when you start to feel comfortable with it, you should challenge yourself and see if you can do that backwards. So for G, we have, try to go backwards. Or D. Or C. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel to see the follow-up to this lesson and to see other lessons and tune videos. Thanks so much.